This is CEMTV, reliable news and entertainment.
Is it time? I can't wait to see it.
Voice of the people, stories that matter.
Oh wow!
Truth in every moment, now and forever. Across every border, across every land, we form, we empower, together we stand. From Africa to the world, connecting every voice.
We need to be jolly in life in order to enjoy every single day that's given to us. Every day of life is a gift, and the only way we can appreciate that gift is to spend it in happiness. And of course, if you're not here on Jolly Life, I think you're missing something in appreciating that gift called life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is CEMTV Jolly Life. And of course, I am Emmanuel Tamuno Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. I hope you're having a very wonderful afternoon. It's been raining, you know, our weather oracle, of course, just like the oracle of Delphine. She has done it again. Made the correct, accurate predictions. You know, I wanted to go out, but I couldn't because I was like, our oracle told us rain will fall. I said, let me wait some more, and I waited. I saw that the rain began to fall, and unfortunately, I had not come out with my umbrella. So I hope you did not fall victim, you know, to the same issue I fell victim to, and you listened to our oracle, went out with your umbrella and your raincoats to not hinder your movement within, you know, Port Harcourt or the various other cities and states that she covered. Speaking of the weather oracle, we have her here with us today. How does it feel knowing that, you know, you predicted, like those rainmakers, you say the rain will fall and then the rain starts falling?
That's very funny. The rain will fall and the rain fall. Obviously, that is it's obviously online. It's NIMET, okay? So most definitely, I tell you what NIMET predictions are for, you know, some cities in Nigeria, and that's just it. And I just hope you're not like Tammy. These are the kind of students that you flog on a daily basis, because I will be telling you, I'll be out here, I'll be saying, oh, carry your umbrella. Make sure you carry your umbrella. Make sure you wear thick clothes. He didn't hear any of that. Thank God you didn't go anywhere today.
That's the thing. I was lucky. I was really lucky. You know, I wanted to go and get something to eat. I was so hungry, and I was like, I saw the weather. It was cloudy, and I looked at the time. I was like, after 9. Did she say it's going to be cloudy and rain within this period? I said, let me know. Someone was telling me, go, my guy. You know, oracle sometimes they make mistake. You understand? I said, let me first and wait to.
No, they make mistake.
Exactly. I said, your track record has been immaculate. So let me first and listen. And before I knew it, I asked the receptionist, you on fan? You know? And they were like, no, the fan is off. It's rain. I looked outside and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, and
the rain's caught up to me
today.
So I do hope they were tuned in to be able to get that prediction.
No, they have to. You have to. That's like the first thing you do in the morning before you get to join our, you know, trending conversations and then the news surgery. I mean, if you're not tuning to SEM television, where are you? What are you doing?
Where are you?
Know, that's it. Anyways, welcome to Jolly Life. And just like Tammy has said, if you're not joining Jolly Life on a Monday, afternoon that we all know is hectic. Your workspace is gonna be a lot. Your life is going to be very heavy right now. And to crown it all, it's raining in some parts of Nigeria. So please do well to be a part of Jolly Life today, as we have amazing stories that we'll be discussing today. As you already know, we have light-hearted conversations right here on the show. We try to make you laugh. We try to discuss with you on some topical issues that are making the rounds on social media. So yes, welcome once again to Jolly Life. My name is Vera Philip, alongside Tammy on the show.
All right, Vera has said it. We're going to have talks that will make you laugh. Talks that we have we have gist for you. And the first gist, let me ask you, Vera. As someone that struggled to buy your phone, you used your money, your sweat, your effort to buy your phone, and then someone takes that phone and smashes it. What would be your first reaction?
First, I think it depends on the circumstances in which my phone was smashed.
Okay.
If it is deliberate and
No, I didn't say someone accidentally.
Yeah.
I said someone
Like
takes the
deliberately.
phone and smashes it. It is 100% deliberate.
Okay, if it's my parents, which they would never.
No, not your parents.
I'll let them go.
A stranger.
I'm trying to not think about what I would do in that point of anger, because I'm anger management. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to not think about what I'll do if I'm angry. That's why you'll see me trying to say, oh, my mom, my parents, or if it's not deliberate, because I'm trying to avoid that answer. However, I think that if someone does that, I'm going to be angry. That's very important. What I'm going to do next, it depends on the amount of money involved on that phone. It depends on how I feel. In short, it depends on a lot of things, and no, I think anybody at all. Gadgets are very expensive, and aside from the fact that they're expensive, phones are very personal to people, and obviously things are kept in phones. Like, everybody's gadget has a lot of information about them. So
Yeah.
smashing it is like you destroying somebody, making someone entirely empty. So expect that rage. You're going to get it in full, if not a retaliation. You're really going to get something coming. So for me, I'm sure you will get something coming. I just can't say what it is, so that people don't think I'm a bad person.
Well, for me, it doesn't matter if you think I'm a bad person, or you think I'm wicked, or you think I'm rude or anything. If you smash my phone, just know that my phone will not be the only thing that is
That
smashed.
will be smashed that day.
That's it. You scatter the phone, I scatter you. You break the phone, I break you.
We don't preach violence.
No, I'm not preaching
Bible
violence.
says if
I
they
didn't
slap
say I
you,
will do anything to the person.
The-
I just said that as you don't scatter the phone, you say go scatter.
The Bible
You
says when
understand?
somebody hit you on one cheek, turn the other cheek.
They didn't
and
tell
let
you.
the
They
person
said
hit
if you hit my cheek, I'll turn the other cheek. But if you hit my phone, that one is a different case. That one is a different case altogether. Well, there's a lady that was put in the exact same situation, and it's not crazy to think about how she reacted. Here's a video of that lady's reaction, and when we come back, I'll give you some more details behind the incident.
President in church. I need justice at all. This is too much.
Madam,
No, make me vex. I go bust your head, though. I go show you madness now.
Madam, you are not the only one inside the church. First
Okay.
of all, we are operating your phone inside the church.
Okay.
And the pastor now say everyone should keep their phone, bring out your Bible.
So,
Then we started doing another thing. I asked you to keep the phone the first time. Then you go down the I want to drag it out to that way. Adam, and this is the house of God for God's sake.
so if all you broke my phone, make I see my phone, I beg. This is now the screen is gone. Oga, I beg. I want to do, I make me vex.
Madam, if na station you did or na court of law you did, if they tell you
Call your pastor.
phone, definitely you go.
Call the
No, my
pastor.
don't have anything to do with it because normally he asked you to keep the phone.
I need my phone back.
Because-
You come my phone. Now pay, please. How you want to pay?
I should pay.
Yes.
I should pay.
Your pastor not send you that kind of message,
I should
okay?
pay what?
Pay with my phone, give my money.
I'm doing an ushering job.
Okay, I'll show you job. Okay,
Yeah.
give me my money. Come and leave, let me see you.
Yeah, I'm working for God, so I don't have any money to
So
pay.
I'm not destroy my phone.
Let me say,
Okay. I want to show you madness
Madam,
now.
if you dey station, you know do this the way you did.
You don't, are you in station?
If you dey
No,
station,
You see, I'm sure from the video alone you've gotten the context, but I'll still give you some more context. Basically, there was a church service, and the pastor, told everyone to keep their phones to the side and open their Bibles. Of course, this young man, this usher, saw this lady still using her phone. And according to him, he told her to stop using her phone, and she refused. So he pulled the phone from her hand and basically destroyed the phone. And now, after the church service, she is livid. She's like, you have to pay for my phone. I don't care how you're going to do it. As a matter of fact, call your pastor because someone needs to pay for this phone. I don't think she overreacted, if you ask me, because from some pictures taken from the video where she's showing the phone, you basically can see the make of the phone. From the looks of it, that's an iPhone 13. And the average price for an iPhone 13, depending on how you want to get it, if it's the UK used or a brand new phone, or refurbished as they would call it, if it's a refurbished phone, iPhone 13, it could range anywhere from 350,000 naira to give or take 500,000 naira. Give or take 350,000 naira to 500,000 naira. But if you're buying it brand new, you're getting it from nowhere less than 500,000 naira to 800,000 naira or 700,000 naira or 750,000 naira within those ranges. So it is an expensive phone, and it's a phone that a lot of people are not willing to treat as fragile. They treat, or rather treat as trivial. They treat it as fragile. They treat it, there's some people that'll tell you that if their phones are in their pockets and they fall down on the street and they hear a crack, they'll prefer for their legs to be broken than for their phones to be cracked or for the screens to be damaged. Now, I want to ask you, Vera, considering the context behind the reason her phone was smashed, and the guy gave a rather good example, if you ask me. He said if you were in a court of law, or you were in, what was the other place he mentioned? If you were in a court of law, and they tell you to put your phone aside, would you still use the phone? And, you know, the court of law and the church are two different institutions. They work by two different rules. One is guided by constitutional rules, and the other is guided by religious and moral rules. The way a constitutional rule will bind you to carry out an action is not the same way a moral or religious rule will bind you to carry out an action. A moral or religious rule is followed based on the conviction of those that believe in the religion. It's not constitution, which is why you can't go around insisting that every person must marry only one wife, as is believed in the Christian religion. Or you cannot go around forcing people that they need to marry or they can marry more than one wife, as is believed in the Muslim religion. Or you can't tell people that they need to give sacrifices, as is believed in our African traditional religion. So why would one enact a moral and religious law to such effect?
Well, I think that first of all, Nigerians, no, not Nigerians, some Christians have this ability to feel like they are better off than others, and maybe that they are closer to heaven than others. I don't know if that's the word to use, and more religious than others as well.
Holier than thou.
Holier than thou. And in this case, I'm even really surprised to see that it's a young man. It's always mostly women that I see, especially the elderly women who do this. And sometimes these elderly women, it's not even from a place of they care about God, it's just from a place of jealousy. Let's be very honest, you know. But then with this man, I'm just wondering exactly what it is, because if they're saying, oh, take out your Bible and bring your phone. I don't go to church with a physical Bible. I have a Bible on my phone, you know, so I'm definitely going to be looking at a Bible from my phone. What makes you think that this lady wasn't looking at a Bible from her phone? Let's even leave the breaking of the phone. Let's look into this religious rule that was broken by this lady that made her phone to be broken. What
made me laugh was the fact he compared it to a court of law.
To a court of law, which doesn't even make any sense. That's
absolutely no sense.
However, in churches, we need to really check ushers. Now, I'm not saying that people don't come into church like the demonic spirit that they are, but even the Bible has given us not even the Bible, even God himself has given us the ability to choose. You know, he says, I made you, but I'm not going to cross your boundary. I'm going to stand at your door, and whenever it is you open the door for me, I'm going to come in. He doesn't force you to do anything. He has given you a choice, irrespective. God can decide to be like, do this, just like the Constitution. He can decide to just give you rules and you must follow the rule or you die, or something. But then he has given us a choice. Same thing with human understanding of how we should live as religious people. We have different religion under the Christian, or different doctrines under the Christian religion, you know. And yes, people are still serving God in different ways, different aspects, you know, whatever ways it is that they deem fit. So if someone is actually pressing their phone when it's in church, that's the person's personal business with God.
Yes.
It is not in any way, you know, a problem within the church. It doesn't cause any kind of problem within the church. I understand that sometimes ushers try to get people's attention to just, you know, concentrate in church, but you cannot do and pass yourself. It reminds me of a time when I was a bit younger. Not a bit, I was very young, and my mom was sitting with me in church. I think children's section was over, and then I came to join my mom in church. And then there was this young lady that was sitting across, like in front of my mom, and then she kept poking this young lady. My mom kept poking this young lady and was like, stop pressing your phone, stop pressing your phone. You know, all this, I won't say that she's a Gen Z, but like the Gen Z of that generation, you know. And she was still pressing her phone. She didn't even care for my mom, and she kept, you know, pressing her phone, and my mom kept poking her to stop pressing your phone. Now my mom, as the elderly woman that she is, was now trying to get her
Take
phone
the
from
phone
her
from
hand,
her.
and then she just said, don't touch my phone. That day I was so pissed. I was like, why would you talk to my mom like that? But then I also understood I was a child and I couldn't have, you know, gotten involved in what was going on, and my mom just kept quiet and left her, you know, and continued church. And that's the most you can do as a person. You cannot force people to do whatever it is that you want them to do.
Yeah.
It can't happen. Now we can understand maybe if it's dress code, because of course they say when you go to Rome, you behave like
You
the
behave
Romans.
as the Romans, yeah.
I can understand for dress codes. I can understand for coordination in churches, or maybe sitting positions or arrangement, because all of this, you know, comes together to give a beautiful service in church and whatever it is that you have prepared. But going an extent to breaking someone's phone, I don't even think, you said her reaction was valid. I'm not sure she gave any reaction whatsoever. If I'm the one, you're in police station right now, like you are sleeping in there until you provide the money for that phone, because he's acting like he had the right to do it. Even from the video, he's acting like he had the right to do what he did. Meanwhile,
He
no right
basically,
whatsoever.
from his demeanor, he basically said that, you know, it's the fact. It's the fact
crazy, like,
that he
that's
compared
crazy.
the two institutions. He was like, if you are in a court of law and they tell you put your phone, so to him the church is greater than the court. So if you cannot do this in the court, you should not do it in the church. And these institutions, the court is bigger than the church in the state, in society. You cannot expect the rules that the court imposes to be as, or the rules that the church imposes to be followed as strictly as the rules that the court imposes. If the court tells you do not bring your phones into, you know, the room, you will obey that law. Why? Because if you don't, there are punishments in place that are backed by the Constitution.
Yeah.
What constitutional law backs churches? What constitutional law backs this man? If this woman decides to press charges and, you know, take this man to court, for him to pay for damages and pay extra, because of course she would need extra to restore her contact, restore a lot of things.
I'll be in support, like 100%. Like, girl, take this man to police station.
Yes.
You know, do what you
damage
need
to property, sue the life out of him.
Like, do what you need to do, because honestly, I think that some religious people need to be checked, like put in their places. There's so much of that religious, how do I put it, like that holier than
for
thou,
me, I
like
would call it the best word for it is the word was at the tip of my tongue, but I lost it. I lost it. Don't worry. I know in the middle of the program, I'll get it back and I'll give you that particular name I want to give that act. So if you're an usher out there and you see this happening, you were not inspired by the wrath of the Holy Spirit. It wasn't holy anger you are feeling that made you smash the phone. Leave people's property alone, because when they take you to court, no judge, jury will listen to you and say, yes, after all, he was doing it for God. It doesn't work that way.
Also, I would like to add, like, you know, ushering department is a very important department in church. Do you understand? And a lot of people are members of the ushering department. So ushers in the house, like, seriously, they'll put it down on our social media page. Like, if you found yourself in this position, are you going to be doing the same thing? Does your church allow you to break people's phones? You know, tell us the dimension of how things are done in your church when things or rules like this are being broken in church. I don't even know if I should call it rules, but I understand when the right of things that are meant to be happening in church are not being done the exact way that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
What happens? You go as far as breaking someone's phones, you send the person out of church. What is the reaction that happens in your church? Of course, as Christians, we have different doctrines and different churches under the Christendom. So how does it happen in your own church? That's what we'd like to know. So put it down on our social media, platforms as you come across this video.
Indeed, you can put it on our social media platforms as it's shown on your screen. But of course, you can follow us on @CEMTV via TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or of course YouTube, where we are active. You can drop your comments. Say maybe you're an usher and you see people do it a lot and it irks you, or you're like, it's not something that is your responsibility to ensure it is enacted. We have another gist for you, but I think we should go on a short break.
Yeah,
Vera.
so you're good.
Let them digest this gist before we bring them another one. What do you think?
100%. We should go on a short break now. And when we come back from this break, Tammy's the one with the gist today. So when we come back, we still have more gist. Don't go anywhere. It's Jolly Live right here on SEM Television. Stay tuned.
Is it time? I can't wait to see it.
Voice of the people, stories that matter.
Oh wow!
Truth in every moment, now and forever. Across every border, across every land, we form, we empower, together we stand. From Africa to the world, connecting everybody.
Welcome back from that short break. This still is Jolly Live here on SEM TV. I remain Emmanuel Tamino Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. Of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I still have with me the weather oracle, Vera Philip.
The one and only.
The
Welcome
one
back.
and only. And of course, like I promised you earlier, and of course, as Vera told you before we went on that short break, we have more gist. And this next gist, thank God, say na man and woman in the studio. We go argue on today.
please, I don't argue. I don't know what you're talking about, but drop the gist.
Well, there's this lady, Dr. Ella. She was on a podcast and she said some things that a lot of ladies disagreed with. Some guys agreed with it, and some guys were like, no, why would you say that kind of thing? Some ladies as well agreed with it. And basically what she said was, she spoke on feminism, and she also spoke on the dating culture amongst young women. There are two videos, but watch this first one.
A man for rent, a man for data, and a man for clothes. You have more or less like a sexually transmitted life. I'm a feminist. What does feminism mean? Feminism is just talking about choice, freedom of women to choose their path in life. That's basically what feminism is. For people that are denying feminism, if not for feminism, do you know where we would be today as women? If not for the rise of feminism, women would never have had the right to vote, own property, open bank accounts. Most of our mothers stayed with our fathers because they had no choice. Our fathers used women, their daughters, to settle their friends. They used us as legal tender. They used us to cement business dynasties. Stop collecting things from men. Stop telling men to give you things if you don't have any way to pay them back.
You see, when she started the video, the first thing she said was that there are girls that have men for clothes, men for, phones, men for different aspects of their life. And she basically called it a sexually transmitted lifestyle. And of course, she went on to speak on feminism. And her take on feminism is a contrast compared to what some women right now think feminism is. There's a thin line between feminism and misandry. And I believe what the women on social media right now believe in is not feminism, it's misandry. And that's where you see talks about, would I say, this sexual positivity lifestyle of, be free to sleep with whoever, be free to show your body anyhow you want to.
Yeah.
You can abuse individuals and go scot-free. You should go scot-free after, doing a lot of evil things. And linking that with this sexually mischievous lifestyle, do you think maybe she's absolutely wrong in what she's saying? Because a lot of people on social media were like, and so should I only have one man? The man, doesn't he have like 50 women? Why is it bad for me to have a man that will give me money, man that will give me airtime, man that will give me data? Why is it bad to have different men for different things? I'm expressing my feminism or my femininity in a special way. What would you have to say concerning that?
Well, to start with, Veronica's daughter is someone I like. I love her opinions on stuff. I love the way she does her business strategy as well. I follow her on social media. So yeah, I've seen that video. I'm paying attention. Like, I want to hear what Veronica's daughter has to say. However, right, I think that this issue of feminism has dragged for too long, and there is just a very tiny thing that you would see now that you get dragged on social media over feminism.
Okay.
And just like you said, there are a lot of people who confuse misandry for feminism, honestly, because at this point, a lot of people are pushing this hatred towards boys, pushing this hatred towards
a
men.
male child.
And I can understand from a place of being suppressed under the men for such a long time, men having their way to a point where a lot of women, some of these girls have seen their mothers go through a lot under the hands of a man, under the hands of their father or something. So there is like a trauma that is kicking in and is causing this hatred. However, let's leave trauma and let's leave all this other how do I call it, like all those loopholes, all those other conversations aside, and talk about the fact on the table. Now, everything she described about feminism to me is the fact.
Okay.
Now, feminism is one thing that has given women the audacity, the authority that they have now to make choices, and that's as simple as what feminism is. Feminism is supposed to be, or feminism was initially created for women to be able to have their rights, women to be able to buy properties, women to be able to vote, women to be able to do all the things that they couldn't do just because they had to be under men. And as she described, women were used as legal tender back in the day.
Yeah.
Which was very sad. And now we've gotten to the point where women can do whatever it is that they want to do. It places us on a pedestal. It does not in any way change that, there is ability or there's a strength of a woman and there's strength of a man. It doesn't make us equal to men. It, however, has given us choices. Now, the reason I think people disassociate themselves with feminism is because of this misconception of what feminism should be all about. The fact that some people have turned it into hatred for men, and then it now becomes the viral definition
hatred for
of
relationships, marriage,
exactly,
and a lot of other things that have to do with men.
So a lot of people are always disassociating themselves. Like, sometimes depends on the kind of public that I find myself. If you ask me, are you a feminist? I would first tell you, depends on what your definition is.
Of a feminist is.
Because I can tell you yes I am, and you automatically think I hate men. I can tell you no I am not, and you automatically think, oh, I'm a loser for a woman. So these are the conversations that we've had, and it's been so long. We've had these conversations for such a long time, seeing that we still have women who have this hatred for men, who are having trauma issues, and then they are passing it out onto men. To a very large extent, maybe men deserve it. Maybe men deserve it. But yeah, we can't take away the fact that there are good men out there. There are men who have come to the realization that women deserve this right as well. And of course, there are women who should also pay respect to men. see, let's be honest. God was not stupid when He created man as the head of the family. All we've always asked for as women is the ability to make choices, because God did not limit us as as women. He gave us the right to make choices. The only thing that He didn't give us right to make choice was over choosing each other, and that's because He knew we would need each other. He's the ultimate savior. At the end of the day, He knew we would need each other. That's it. But He gave us the right, or the ability to choose any other thing, to make choices, and that is what we have fought and we have gained to this point. So there's a thin line. We just have to be very careful not to hate on men, not to, and then there's also the studying of patterns. There's also the studying of patterns. Like sometimes I hear some of these feminists talk about, patterns, like maybe the kind of patterns that have led to men suppressing women. So when you find yourself in a place that is as if those patterns are repeating themselves, it is important for you to step away. That we understand. But then when you now take it upon yourself to hate on a man, a woman is buying something for the husband, and you're saying, "Oh, why you?" I think there
was even online. There was this lady that she proposed to her husband, her boyfriend, in the World Cup, and boy, oh boy, did they cause a lot of problems.
That's the freedom we've been fighting for, the ability to also choose if we really want to propose to a man or not. I remember the time of Natasha Okpoti, when Natasha said that she was thanking her husband for allowing her to run for another term, politically, and then people were bashing her. And then there's this popular feminist online, I can't remember her name, that was very like, "I'm so disappointed, I'm withdrawing my support for you. You mean to tell me that if your husband did not permit you, you will not be running for office?" And I'm like, excuse me, everybody hold up. These are partners. These are people who have chosen to do life together. You cannot do it's just like saying, "Let me do something without God." God has already said that as far as your husband is concerned, he's your earthly God above you. It doesn't mean that God also gives us rights. It's just the same way we have a relationship with God. He gives us the right to do whatever it is that we want to do. He gives us the ability to make choices.
He gives us the ability to make choices.
That's the kind of relationship He has said have with your husband. Let your husband be take permission. Like, it's not even about taking permission. It's about seeking support.
And also being able to communicate and make those joint decisions. Funny enough, there is another part to this video, and I believe that's the one that really sparked a lot of people's
the sexual
minds.
transmission. I have no words for that one. Like, that one is very, like, how will I put it? I feel like the world has deteriorated to this point, and I fear that it might really be nothing that we'll do to get back to that point.
You know what? The thing is that I really want to hear what you would have to say concerning this particular one. So here is that second video with Dr. Ella sharing a very, very flammable opinion. Here it is.
Money na water. We now say things like, if you don't get money, hide your face. I hope you know, ladies, that asking a man for transport to come on a date, asking for dress and all that is crass and crude behavior. You're not homeless. You're not a Majiri. You had clothes. You have hair. If he offers to pick you up, fine. He doesn't, get yourself to the...
She said asking a man for transport, for clothes, for hair, things, you want to go on a date, and the man is basically funding the entire date and funding you coming to the date. So you're like, if the man decides to pick you up, fine. If the man doesn't decide to pick you up, find your way to the date. And that one, hey, if she was figuratively speaking a towel, they don't wrap and squeeze, as in they squeeze her online, because it's like, why would I want to spend money on myself to go and see a man that is interested in me? And honestly speaking, I think, as she said, that's crass and crude behavior. Because did I pick you off of the streets? Because we've seen situations. Yeah, we've seen situations where it's like, oh, this homeless, beautiful girl, you know what, let me take her in, all these romance movies.
Yeah,
if it's a situation like that,
to become better.
Exactly. If it's a situation like that, I can understand. But in this case, you didn't fall from the sky. You have lived your life from childhood to adulthood. You have clothes. You have everything you need to look good. The reason that man saw you and wanted to go on a date with you was because he saw that you looked good. He saw that, wow, this person is beautiful. They know how to take care of themselves. So I want to get to know you better. And you are now expecting that person that already saw you with your own, materials and attire on yourself, expecting to now give you his, like, I don't understand the mindset there.
So I really feel for men because they've been placed, and it's still men's fault if I'm being honest.
How, Vera? How?
Let me explain,
Yeah.
right? Because men have now been kept on that pedestal that if your other man could do it, you should be able to do it as well. That is the place. You see ladies sit in a podcast and tell you, oh, you should be able to give me 500,000 naira in a month, and another lady is at home watching and say, oh, so there are men that are giving their girlfriends the 500,000 naira, then my man should be able to give me. You see, that's the problem.
No, for
Right?
me, I don't think. Let me.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm using it as an example to somewhere. You know, that's the problem. So now a person, and now we have a lot of influencers who are, you know, a day in my life, and they're showing you, oh, my boyfriend invited me on a date, or this man I met invited me on a date and then paid for, you know, my this and this and that, and then somebody's watching
Some of those
that.
things could still be live.
Yeah, thank you. And somebody's watching
continue.
that and it's like, oh, so there are men that can do this. I need my man to be able to do this. So you see, the pedestal has been raised for another man who has no idea what's going on here. So yeah, that is the problem, right?
Okay.
Now, a man can decide to fund you your looks to go on a date, and that is very, very personal. If he does that, that's sweet. And you know the funny thing, if a man does that, it doesn't still make a man a good person. That's the funny thing. And that's why I'm always saying that men have been placed on a pedestal that doesn't even count. Do you get? So if a man decides to fund you to go out, that's beautiful. But at the end of the day, what kind of person does it make you if a man wants to take you out and you're first asking him to fund you, to pay for your hair, to pay? We are here fighting for women who are industrious, women who are hardworking, women who are standalones, women, independent women. And you're out here, I'm an independent woman, and now that we have a lot of women who bring this to the table, you really do expect that you to be a woman that, you know, you're not funding your own self for a date.
Yeah,
that is very low class. And for, you know, the kind of how, like, a lifestyle that women love, or the kind of face that women love to keep or love to show off, you know, it is really bad to do that. However, there are men that do it, and because of that, it looks as if all the men must do it. But basically, that is not that should never be the pedestal in which you should judge a man, or, you know, choose a man. You know, there are lots of things. There's honesty, there's behavior, there's character flaw, there's every other thing. I'm always talking about character flaw because a lot of people just go around and don't have any proper character, you know. And there are all those kind of things to look out for, and not somebody who spends money on a date. And you know the funny thing, because this person can have over 10 million naira, for example, in their bank account, and they'll use 10,000 naira to fund you, you know, on your outfit. And there's another person who would have 100,000 naira and will use 90,000 naira to fund you. Now you wouldn't know, but then you have placed this person on a very unfamiliar, unrelated, you know, pedestal that you do not know the sacrifices that they have gone, you know. And another person might not even get you any of this, but will take you on a beautiful date that he has spent maybe his even last kobo, his last money to take you on that date. So at the end of the day, it is important to look at people from within, to look at the things that actually matter before the things that do not matter. You know, maybe if you choose things like how you're dressing, how you represent yourself, how you show yourself, you know, those are meaningful, you know, conditions. But saying that a man has to pay for you, pay your transport, bruh, I don't know. Like, we need to, and these conversations have lasted for a really long time, and that's heartbreaking part, because we're still going to have people who are pushing the narrative that yes, men should do that, and we have us who push the narrative that it is not right. So at the end of the day, it's two ways in the market out there, whatever it is you choose to do. But at the end of the day, let it also represent who you are, because who you are also depends on what it is that you're asking from a man at that time. Because best believe, men are humans too, you know. And I always used to say, like, women spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on a lot of things, and I'm just always imagining a typical man, you know, and how much it is that he spends on a lot of things. So men are humans too. They have what they're using money for. They cannot carry all their money and be funding you, you know. Yeah, that's my take on that.
You see, the way you put it is actually the way a lot of people think.
Yeah.
Because now it's a matter of someone can spend all that money, and it's because they can afford it. So what you said, I know you gave it as an example, but what you said is what a lot of people believe, which is what brought about the mindset of if he wants to, he will.
He will, yeah.
Exactly.
There is that conversation too.
I don't think it is a matter of it's the men that did it that are at fault. You understand? No, like I said, you gave it as an example.
Yeah, he said as an example.
Believe it or not, That is the mindset of a lot of girls online.
Yeah.
It's just that, we're out of time. If not, I saw a lot of feedback. I saw a lot of response on X, or rather responses on X, of people saying if he wants to, he will. He will. He did da. So that is the mindset of a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this because of you said it. I just brought it up because the fact that you pointed it out, that and you gave it as an example, that is some people's mindset.
That's a fact in some people's
So
head.
I don't think, for those out there, I don't think you should judge your relationship pedestal or place your relationship on a pedestal based off of another person's life.
Relationship.
Or exactly, another person's relationship, because you could be married to someone who earns 150,000 naira, but he does for you things that are worth 10,000, 20,000, which is 10 to 20% of his income. Someone can earn 100 million naira and they're doing things worth 1 million naira, which is about 1% of their income. The question now is, because what this person can do is limited, does that make it, or is it then worth less than what this person that does 1 million naira does? Because of course 1 million naira and 10,000 naira, they are nowhere close. So because what I can afford to do is 10,000 naira, and one other person sparingly just let's go, is 1 million naira, does that mean the 1 million naira is worth more than the 10,000 naira? Because it is the thought that should count. The person you're dating, you knew the person you were getting into a relationship with. You knew his capabilities. You knew where he was working. Because of course, before you get into a relationship, you need to know all these things. Because I'm not of the mindset of, just go in a relationship for the fun of it.
Yeah.
You go into a relationship with a goal in mind. If you're dating someone with no goal in mind, I don't know what you are doing, honestly speaking. So when you want to date someone, you know where they're working, you know how much they're earning, you know how they budget themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's with their budget, okay, either you can advise them, because there are ladies that they do budgets better than men.
Yeah.
Once a man tells them, I spend this on this, and they're like, no. Why would you spend this on this on this on this? Why not do this? And you notice that the man then is able to save more, which in turn would still benefit the lady, because as the man betters himself, he's going to in turn make the entire relationship better. So you need to know how much he's earning. You need to know his life situation if you're going to advance with him, or if you let go. Not the situation that you've done all of this analysis and you decided it is worth it for me to be in a relationship with this person. And then you see another person who did this exact same thing and was fortunate enough to have someone with a higher net worth than the person you're with, and now expecting the person you're with, whose net worth is not close to that other person, to do the exact same thing as this other person that can do it.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense in the current dating scene.
Yeah, and I'd like to give out a piece of advice, and this is like to my girls, and this is what I want to say. Like, self-awareness is very important. Creating happiness for yourself. Someone recently asked me what is happiness to me, or what is success to me, and I had to think about that question for a minute before answering, but I was glad the answer I gave. Now, we are not all created to follow the boss. As a matter of fact, you're not even meant to follow the boss. There's a lot going on social media that has nothing, hear me, absolutely nothing to do with you. See it for the fun of it. The more you allow social media to influence you, the more you lose yourself. You have been created specially. There's what you love that the next person doesn't love. You can't adopt something, you can't start to love something that you're seeing another person loving on social media, because that's not who and what you were created for. So when people are placing certain things on certain pedestal, make sure that you assess yourself enough to know, is this thing something that is important to me as well? Do I consider this thing something that gives me happiness, that gives me some sort of fulfillment? Is it what it is for me as well? Because honestly, a man that is going on dates with another person and buying stuff for them to take them on a date might not even be what you want. But because you have seen it so much on social media, because you have seen your friend, do it, it now becomes your own want. You have totally forgotten yourself in the midst of it, and now you want to be another person. And this is how you slowly lose yourself and become another person till you leave the surface of the earth and you do not bring anything of yourself to the world. So it is important that you choose yourself, you know yourself, you access yourself, define your happiness, define what is it is that works for you, what it is that makes you happy, what you can deal with and what you cannot deal with. You don't have to follow the multitude to do whether the right or wrong. You do not have to follow the multitude. You have been created with special gifts to be something different. That's why you see some people call themselves Ote. They decide to be anything else but anybody else.
Yeah.
So you be yourself as well. Choose whatever it is that you know gives you genuine happiness down to your heart, you know, not for social media, not for anyone else. And you know the funny thing, if you're actually unique and you're on social media, you know, you'll get organic audience. You get people who connect with you normally or naturally, and that's what you should build for yourself. And that's going to be like my advice to the ladies, because we're all in the same WhatsApp group. So let's try to talk to ourselves more and be very intentional about the things that we choose in partners. Thank you.
You see, I love the fact that you said we need to be intentional on the, you know, things we choose in our partners, the traits, you know, the characteristics and the requirements we look forward to in a partner.
Yeah.
She has given the advice for girlies. It's time for me to give advice for the guys. As a guy out there, do not allow your worth to be judged by your pockets. That's not all there is to life.
Click it, click it.
That's not all there is to life. Because a lot of guys, because they have been told or shown several times that your worth is based off of what you can give, they then begin to see that no other trait is worth it. They then begin to see that, oh, as long as I have money, I could be rude, I could be mean, I could lack discipline, and with all of that, I could still get as many ladies as I want, because what they see is 5, 15, 20 ladies, and some even saying they don't even care if the partner cheats as long as he has enough money to fund her lifestyle. That is not the type of woman you should go for. I don't care if you've loved her since secondary school. I don't care if you guys were dating at one point and because of circumstance you were separated and you came back together and the love is still there, but she has come back with these, you know, doctrines to tell you that, oh, a man must be this, a man. No. Live your life as a man based off of the traits of discipline, the traits of confidence, hard work and perseverance. Because if you don't have discipline, you won't be able to put in hard work. And if you don't have perseverance, you won't be able to put in the hard work. You need to be disciplined in order to prevent a whole lot of bad things, a whole lot of, you know, bad names that come along with being a man. Because it's when you're disciplined that no matter how much money you have, no matter the amount of girls you can get, it doesn't matter. Why? Because you already know your worth and you know the worth of the woman you are looking for. Don't get judged by the social media baddies. Oh, yes, they are fine. I know. They are fine. They are attractive. They are hot. They are the women of your dreams. But that is a want. Ask yourself, what do I need in a woman? And once you ask yourself that question, trust me, you'll be able to put your life in order. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the most we can take on Jolly Live, Vera. That's the most we can take.
That's the most we can take actually on the show. I think I just want to add one thing. You know, if all you have is money, then you're really not as rich as you think. You're very, very poor. You know, money is like one of the things that make you wealthy, but definitely not wealth itself. So if all you have to give is money, then you're broke. You're not broke, you're poor actually. And yes, just like Tamia said, that's the most we can bring to you on Johnny Live today. Of course, it's just Monday. The first episode for the week will be here for Tuesday and the rest of the week. We do hope that, you know, you've had a swell time with us on the show and you're going to be joining us again tomorrow for another beautiful edition. Yeah, thank you for joining us. My name is Vera Philip.
And of course, I am Emmanuel Tamino Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. And with this, we bid you adieu.